Today we are going to talk about a JW based logging system. Unlike that session based where you need to manage the session in a database, JWT do not need to manage any authentication server into a database. Rather, it is pass a token information to the client, and client is responsible for saving that token, and this token have the necessary information regarding the client or the authentication information as well. So whenever a client want to make another request, which is to ask for a protected route, and it has to pass that JWT token to the server, and the server will validate that token with a secret key, and if that token is valid, it send back the response to the client. That's how a simple JWT token works. If you go to the jwt.io website, here you can see how that token looks like. So this is, and if you see the red part, it is a header of the token. It will inform what type of token it is and what type of algorithm it is using, which is HS256 algorithm for hashing that token. Information is a payload, which is the actual data. It could store any data that you want to store in your JWT token. Remember not to store any sensitive information, because this could be exposed. And then we have a verifying signature. This verifying signature is a base 64 URL encoded header or any other thing payload, and then we have our secret key, and with the help of this secret key we can verify that if that JWT token is valid or being tampered. So for example, this secret key is only known by your server. In our case, it is only known by the Node.js. So as we talked, the JWT token is composed of 3 components, and the first one is header. The second one is actual payload, which contains the information, and the third one is a verifying signature, JWT token. How you can generate it into a Node.js? You can simply, let's get started by creating a blank Node.js project. Open CMD and now create a folder for your Node.js projects and move into your Node.js projects. After that, create a folder for your current JWT example 1, and then you can simply use npm init -y. It will create a blank project for you. All you can do is install the Express, Passport, Bicep.js and JSON Web Token libraries via npm install commands, and within a moment your project will be ready. You can open it into Code Studio. Now let's create a new file, server.js, and here we will create a very simple Express based Node.js server. We import the Express library, then we create an app instance, and we use that. We are going to use the JSON, and here is a simple hello world example. Next thing we are going to use is define a login route, which we will be use, and similarly we create a get login route for that, and we will simply send a response that it is a login page. And if we go to the /login, it is working. Next thing we are going to use a passport.js library. So let's move to the passport.js local library, and we are going to use the local strategy for the passport.js. Here we need to install it first, and here is an example use of passport. You can take this example code and move your server.js file. Here you need to passport.use new local strategy, and inside here is a callback where you will get username and password, and then if you will check if username is equal to admin and password is equal to admin, this is an authentication route, and you can simply create a login route, and you can use a passport.authenticate middleware for that. And you can simply create a dashboard route, and this is a demo dashboard for that. And similarly you can redirect to that dashboard route once the user is get login. Here we are going to create a simple bootstrap based page, and we are going to use a bootstrap library. This is a simple form in which call a post request for the login route, and that's why we have to create a post method in our Node.js backend. Coming into Node.js backend, let's recreate our importings required, and let's to navigate and check if our login page is working. Let's create a new route, and yes, our login page is now properly working. So let's go back and change some input field names, because we are going to use a username and password rather than email and password, and we will change the name of the fields so that we can use it to receive our data in our background in our local strategy. And now if we try to log in, it says that it requires a session. So now what you need to do is you need to use a session method, because we import the express session library, and coming down we will say that app.use session, and here we will provide a secret key, and resave is false, and save until uninitialize is equal to false as well. So this is a basic implementation of using a session in our Node.js backend. And now it says fail to serialize user input. So now when you send a login information, you need to serialize and deserialize your user methods. So this is your dashboard. Now once you're done with it, you can now access a login method and you are properly logged in. Now let's move to create a JWT based login system similar like the JSON method, session method. You have to create a similar express backend server, but here we are creating an array of users with ID, username and password, so that we can mimic a database functionality. Here we creating a login route, and we are users.find method to find out if the user match with the username and password within that user array. So similarly, if it matches, we will send a login successful. Testing this route with a postman, we are simply sending a raw JSON information, username and password, admin and admin, and here you can see that it returns a user logged in successfully. So it mimics that we are properly making a function. Let's moving back to the passport.js local strategy. Similar the way we use in a previous session based method, we can recreate a local strategy, but here we need to import the JWT just from the JSON web. So we can create a token as well. We create a new passport.use new local strategy, and we say that our username field will be username and password field will be passwords. Then we can similarly ask for a username to find that user from our user array, and if user is found, we will return a success, otherwise false. Now recreate a login route to use that passport middleware. Here we are using passport the authentication method with the local strategy, and we say that we don't want to use the session, so we make the session false. And now we sign a token JWT sign, and we pass the payload information of user ID, and this we pass a secret key as well. Now if we try to access that, it is saying unauthorized, and if we refresh and send the data, and it will say that user is now properly authenticated. So it is a passport.jwt middleware, so we can access this JWT libraries, and then we will create a new JWT strategy so that middleware could be used. We have to provide the same secret key which we are using in login route to sign over JWT token, and here we need to say a similar strategy. And when we are creating a protected route, we need to use that middleware which we passport.use authentication method with the JWT token, and this method will be tested from here, and we have to pass that from a header section and authorization, and this is the way we pass a JWT token back to the server. And now if we try to access over backend from JWT signed token, it will say that you are now authenticated, otherwise unauthorized to access it.